So what does it mean to eradicate sex addiction out of your life for good? To finally let that addiction that has tormented you for many years, maybe even decades, how to get away from it, how to break free, how to live a life of sexual sobriety so you feel normal and you feel healthy and you no longer have to hide in the shadows and keeping all the secrets and feeling so shameful and dirty. How can you eradicate sex addiction out of your life for good? That's what we're here for today. And there are 3 strategies we're going to talk about today to help eradicate sex addiction out of your life. I'm a recovering sex addict. I am sober from sex addiction for 11 years now, and I'm also free from alcohol and crystal meth addiction for 11 years as well. And that's July of 2023. I'll be 11 years free. And I'm very grateful. And there were many strategies that I had to use to eradicate sex addiction out of my life. And now I am here, and I use this channel to help you do the same thing. And if this is you, and this is something that you want to eradicate sex addiction out of your life, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and of course, hit the bell, because the bell will go off on your phone or your computer when I post a new video, which I do every Tuesday. So I'm very excited that you're here. So let's talk about how to eradicate sex addiction out of your life for good. So there are 3 strategies we're going to talk about today, and these 3 strategies are 3 of many that you can use and practice and come to understand to eradicate the sex addiction, the active sex addiction, that destructive addiction out of your life. So here are the 3. Number 1, we must create a healthy balance in our life, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. So let's create healthy balance. Number 2, sex addiction is very powerful. There are many components to it. You want to understand your sex addiction, understand the mechanisms behind it, and understand what sexual behaviors you're addicted to. And number 3, stay focused on goals. Yes, you want to stay very, very focused on your vision, on your goals, and on the man you want to be. Sex addiction is very, very powerful. And one of the components with sex addiction is the addiction to the chemicals the brain releases during certain sexual behaviors. And I talk about that in some of my other videos about how your brain becomes a drug manufacturing machine. Your brain releases massive amounts of dopamine during sexual behavior. So even though, yes, you're a sex addict and you're addicted to certain sexual behaviors, you are truly addicted to the chemicals your brain releases during those activities. So on some level, you're drug addicted. And dopamine is one of those chemicals the brain releases in massive amounts. And the body gets a craving for that. And the brain knows those behaviors are going to give me that rush of dopamine and get me high, get me feeling truly invigorated. But I need to do these destructive behaviors that are breaking my spirit. That's the dichotomy of all this, is that you're addicted to the drug that makes you feel good, yet the activity that gets you high makes you feel inferior, makes you feel guilty, and makes you feel shameful. In fact, some of us get to the point of such extreme desperation in our sex addiction for that high that we actually get hopeless and we think about suicide. Studies have shown that 72% of sex addicts think about suicide and 17% attempt suicide because of the hopelessness and desperation of it all. The suicide rate is so high with sex addicts that something needs to be done, and we need to talk about sex addiction. It is a fact. 30 million Americans struggle with sex addiction, and 1.6 billion people around the globe struggle with sex addiction as well. So I'm glad you're here because you're on the right track, because you want to eradicate it. And we're going to talk about these 3 strategies today. Let's talk about strategy number 1, create healthy balance. Yes, we sex addicts have an imbalance, almost like we have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. We get so obsessive and so compulsive with our sexual behaviors that our life becomes so unmanageable, becomes crazy on some level, and we lack focus, and we lack successfully completing tasks, and we lack focus at work and in the gym and on our health. We get chaotic, we become unmanageable. So we need to start developing healthy balance. We need to understand what healthy living is. And healthy people do 5 things. There's 5 things healthy people do. 1, exercise and hit the gym or go jogging or do some exercise outdoors 1 or 2 or 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. That's what normal people do. 2, normal people eat 3, 4 times a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and they sneak in another meal. Healthy eating, that's another part of healthy balance, and normal, healthy people do that. 3, social interactions. Normal, healthy people socially interact. They go to parties, they go to family events, they go to outdoor cafes, and they go out with a friend and they enjoy a nice lunch, or on their lunch break at work, they go and meet friends. Social. That's what healthy, normal people do. Number 4, healthy, normal people, they rest, they sleep 6, 7, 8 hours a night. Generally, they get healthy sleep. They go to bed 9, 10, 11 o'clock. They get up at 5, 6, 7 a.m. and then they go to work. So normal, well-balanced, healthy people sleep, and they sleep healthy. And the 5th thing that healthy people do is they help and do for others. Yes, they give. They do nice gestures, holding the door for other people, smiling, having healthy interactions, and laughing with other people. These 5 things healthy people do when they're living a balanced life. But us, sex addicts, when we're wrapped in the grip of sex addiction and we're acting out sexually, we don't really do those 5 things. We tend to isolate. We tend to be more quiet. We sleep erratically. Some of us are up all night long getting an hour's sleep before work. We're not truly functioning at work. We don't give our 100%. We're dozing off. We're tired. We lack focus. We are not social. We isolate. That's what addiction does. Addiction isolates. We don't get social with our families. How many times have we abandoned our friends and families for dinner or certain events because we were wrapped up in our sex addiction? See, we need to start practicing healthy balance, and I'm going to strongly suggest you start to practice those 5. Number 2, understand sex addiction. You desperately need to understand your sex addiction. If you have this addiction and you don't understand it, you don't know how it works, you're going to be so baffled, and you're going to be in such awe at this addiction, and you're so overwhelmed with confusion and despair and shame and guilt, it's going to literally bring you all the way down to desperation and exhaustion, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and you're going to become a different person than you want to be. But the isolation and not taking care of yourself, not self-nurturing, will be over with, because you're going to get so deep down and dark in that addiction. So what we need to do is understand sex addiction, understand your sex addiction. 1, know what the sex addiction is doing with your brain, releasing massive amounts of dopamine. So on some level, you're drug addicted. Number 2, understand that as a sex addict, you are addicted to certain behaviors. You need to understand what behaviors you're addicted to. And then you have to look at those behaviors, because as a sex addict, you're not just addicted to sex, you're addicted to certain sexual behaviors. And you need to define and know your behaviors that get you that dopamine fix, that high. What sexual behaviors are you addicted to? And number 3, you need to understand your triggers. You need to understand what triggers you to act out sexually. And I'm going to give you 5 things right now that trigger you to act out sexually. And it's the acronym HALTS, HALTS. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and stressed. I mean, how often do you feel those 5? Probably every day, right? But it's those 5 that are going to trigger you to act out sexually. And then, of course, we have other triggers. Driving down a certain road. that can trigger you. Having a conversation with a certain person can trigger you. Focusing on a memory or a thought can trigger you. So you need to really understand your triggers. And when you do that, you're going to start to take control of yourself and develop self-discipline so we can start eradicating those behaviors out of your life. And the third strategy is stay focused on your goals. Yes, you must stay very, very focused on your vision. Stay focused on your goals. Stay focused on what you want to achieve in your life. See, your life is going to go where you're looking. If you're looking there, that's where you're going. If you look there, that's where you're going. You're going to go where you're looking. So pay very close attention if you're looking to the right or looking to the left or looking straight or looking up or looking down. Where you're looking, you're going to go. Keep that in mind. So if you don't want to do something, but that's what you're looking at, even though you don't want to do it, if that's what you're looking at, that's where you're going. Does that make sense? So don't look at what you don't want and don't look at the things that are destroying you. Stay focused on the things you want. Stay focused on your vision. Stay focused on your direction. That's where you stay focused. And if you look there and you stay focused on your goals, guess where you're going to go? You're going to go there. And you're going to achieve those goals because you're going to be eradicating sex addiction out of your life by using these 3 strategies and all the tools within those strategies we just talked about. And that's going to help you eradicate sex addiction. And you're going to be the champion you deserve to be and the champion you were created to be. If this video resonated with you, if you like this video, if you want to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel because I post a video every Tuesday. And my goal is to help you eradicate sex addiction out of your life. And we're going to be zeroing in on all the tools and strategies you can use to eradicate sex addiction out of your life for good. So I look forward to seeing you next time.